Question. Hello. This is regarding fallen beings and their fear of an ex-fallen being who has turned around to the light of God. It seems from all the attacks I've received from fallen beings and their followers since my birth is based on wanting to torture me, traumatize me, and destroy me psychologically, rather than just get me killed physically. Because if I was killed physically, I can still carry on walking the path of transcendence. I fully know death is an illusion. It's not the end at all, and in past lives I have been seen by people around me after the death of my body. I know there are other opportunities for someone like me who loves God. I experience unconditional love and joy. I have no fear of attachments regarding my psychology, and I want to be duality free. I love the pure being in everyone. I know I have totally changed. I feel deep love in my heart as I'm writing this. Can there be a cause like this, where killing someone like me is not what fallen beings want, but they want to destroy me psychologically instead? I see they afterwards decide that I commit suicide, which will never happen. I do not fear the fallen ones or hate them. I have forgiven them completely to set myself free from them. Well, I would say that yes, of course there can, because what the fallen beings want is they don't want to kill your physical body. I mean, they may want that in specific situations where they see you as a threat. But what they really want is to destroy you psychologically, spiritually, give you such deep traumas in your psychology that you can't stand up to them. You can't fulfill your mission, or you can't carry out your life plan. So you see, of course, that there are different levels of fallen beings, and there are different levels of their awareness. So you go back to Jesus. He was a threat to the fallen beings. And they killed his physical body. But that was just a sort of emergency measure, because they couldn't kill him psychologically. So they can, ideally what they want to do is, like it's described, either cripple you so much psychologically you can't carry out your mission, or even get you to commit suicide. If they can't achieve that, they might try to kill you physically, if you are enough of a threat to them. So I would say, can there be a cause like this where killing someone is not what the fallen beings want? And yes, that's the case with all avatars. I have my whole playlist about avatar psychology, and my video about how the world is created, where I explain fallen beings and what they want on Earth. So what they always want is to prevent an avatar from fulfilling the mission for which it came to Earth. And that includes just serving as an example. And what they basically want is to, they would like to divide us and destroy us psychologically, so we can't do anything. So we just sit around and not try to do anything on Earth, not just try to stand out from the crowd. We just hide in a cave and wait for our time to be over. But the second strategy is to get us to fight them. So we get involved with them and fight their battles, and we go into the duality consciousness. We create a lot of karma with fallen beings. And it's a very common scenario that you can have. Some avatars have got into this, thinking that the way to solve the problems on Earth is to get the fallen beings, to destroy or kill the fallen beings. So in other words, you come to Earth, you see that all of the murder and mayhem here is basically, it ties back to the fallen beings. So you're thinking, if you can just get rid of these fallen beings, you can solve the problems. Like, for example, the question is, if you had the opportunity to kill Hitler as a child, would you do so? And there are some avatars who would, yes, of course, we will prevent the Second World War and the Holocaust. And so what has happened to some avatars is that they have created so much karma with the fallen beings that in every lifetime they embody with the fallen beings. And they often get pulled right into opposing them, or maybe even supporting or submitting to them, because the fallen beings can also disguise that they are fighting for some good cause by killing these other people. So some avatars have been seduced into supporting fallen beings. But basically, first they want you to destroy you and pacify you. If not, they want you to engage with them. Because even if you're embodied with them in the same family, they can influence you and perhaps even influence you psychologically, so you don't dare to fulfill your life plan. So there are certainly those two main cases there. And as the person describes, I do not fear the fallen ones, I hate them, I have forgiven them completely to set myself free from them. And that's what you have to do. You have to not fear them, you have to not hate them, you have to not want to fight them, you have to forgive them. Because only in forgiving them do you set yourself free from any entanglement with them. You have to overcome the desire to change them or destroy them. And then you can say, gee, what are we here for then? Well, you are here so that you do what Jesus did. The significance of Jesus' crucifixion is, Jesus had a high enough spiritual attainment. He could have avoided being arrested, being tried, being crucified. Why didn't he do this? Because by allowing himself to be killed, he brought the judgment of Christ upon certain fallen beings. Now this doesn't mean that we all as avatars have to be killed in order to bring the judgment of Christ. We can do this just by being who we are. We can also doing it by giving the decrees and invocations that the Ascended Masters have released that call for the judgment of Christ. So the important point to get here is, if you are fighting the fallen beings, if you're trying to change them, if you haven't forgiven them, you cannot be the instrument for the judgment of Christ. In order to be the instrument of the judgment of Christ, you have to be completely neutral. You have to let the Christ mind judge what should happen to these fallen beings. And in some cases, these fallen beings will be allowed to do what they are doing and feel they are winning. But they will still receive the judgment of Christ after this lifetime. It's just a matter of how it all plays out. And I don't claim to understand with the outer mind. I don't claim to need to understand, because I have surrendered that I don't need to understand this with the outer mind. I let the Christ mind do its work. And that's what you have to do. You can't judge with the outer mind. You just simply have to accept what it says in the Old Testament. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I will repay. In other words, you don't need to take revenge upon people who have harmed you. I, through the law of karma, will do this. But I will do it according to my higher vision, non-dual vision, the Christ vision, not according to the vision you have while you're in the physical body and involved with people who harmed you. And that's why I'm saying, to be the judgment of Christ, you have to try to be as neutral as possible. And just let the Christ mind decide what should or shouldn't happen in a given situation, or with certain people or life streams.